Day 42 of retirement. And bringing this chair out here today, I definitely have some doggies wanting to sit on my lap. So, okay, good boy. But you know what'll happen if Rex isn't first. There we go. Now, I have a lot of things I want to talk about today. And first of all, well, look at it's beautiful, cute Rex here on my lap. Doggies are staying out of the heat. It's 91 degrees last time I checked about 30 minutes ago. And it's around 2:30, 2:40 right now in the afternoon. Now, um, one of my dogs is trying to get back in. Hold on a second. So, his bucket's in the way, so he can't go back and forth. But let me say that John Cobell is a radio personality out here. That sounds kind of strange. He's on KFI AM, but he's on vacation right now, which is unfortunate. Now, he was teamed up with John Cobell and Ken Champeau. Ken Champeau retired about 7 or 8 months ago, and so he's not around anymore. And so John Cobell's on his own with everything that happened with Trump, the assassination attempt. He would have really been good to listen to on the radio to see his take on it all. But a few other people are substituting in for him right now. Now, typically, when he goes on vacation, John Cobell, he doesn't stay tuned to the internet or the radio or anything. So he's out of the news loop. So I don't know what country he went to this time and what he knows or doesn't know, but it'd be interesting when he comes back. I can't wait. Now, I heard on the news that uh, former President Trump chose someone for his running mate for vice president, possible vice president, Jaime Vance. At first, I didn't know if it was Van or Vance. And I don't even know if that is a man or a woman. I'm going to take it as a woman, just from the little bit I heard on the radio. First, the guy said he, and then later on, he called her she, if it was the same guy. So I don't know. I just hope it isn't that God-forsaken lady that shot her dog. I think we all know that story. Hopefully he didn't choose her. I don't think so, though. I think that would have been brought up. So I'm finally finding out a little bit of news about the assassination attempt. I still have not watched the news clippings. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see any of that right now. I didn't even really know anything beyond the headlines yesterday, and then today I started finding out a little bit. I've seen a reaction or two. People have talked on YouTube, but I'm still not watching the videos. I just put on black and listened to it. And I have heard now the crowd reactions and the shots ringing out, but I haven't seen it. Now, when Princess Diana, when she died, I had just moved down to Orange County, and my younger brother was moving with me, if I remember right, but he wasn't there the first night, and I didn't have my television. And so I heard on the radio, if I remember right, I first heard that she had been seriously injured, and then a little bit later that she had died. And I didn't have my phone either, so I had no way of talking with anyone. And so I didn't have my TV, so it was just the news on the radio, and that was such a shocker. So I'll find out who this Jaime Vance is soon enough. Now, I'm really sad to hear that Shannon Dougherty died. My family and my friends, we were really into Beverly Hills 90210 in the early to mid 90s. And she always seemed just so real, like a Dolly Parton, that kind of real. And so I don't follow Hollywood and the news and everything. I did not know that she had cancer or if I had heard about it, I forgot, and I don't read the magazine stories about it either. So this just really shocked me out of the blue. I really, really like Shannon, and she died at 53. I didn't even know she had been battling cancer for a very long time. Now, she's the second one to die from that show. We also have Luke Perry. He passed away, I guess, a couple of years ago now from a heart attack. And he was awesome too. Now, my favorites on that show by far were Brenda Walsh, Shannon Dougherty, Luke Perry, and then I don't remember her name, but the one that played Kelly. And I still remember that she had been dating two different guys on that show. This was part of the running theme. And she had dated one, then she dated the other, and then there was this episode where she had them both there. If I remember right, it was Brandon and Luke Perry and Dylan, he was calling the show, and she told them that the choice she made for who she was going to date again, she said, I choose me. And she chose neither of them. Well, I do want to say that I was out front today painting my wrought iron fencing. It's rusted a whole lot, and so I was doing some touch-up painting. I have no idea. I don't know if painting over rust is actually something that keeps the rust from slowing down. And the entire fence isn't rusted, but it is rusted in parts, and it's not that old. And so I've just been using some of the old house paint that was used on part of my house when they painted a year ago or so, and using that just to go over some of the rust and then over some of the spots where the paint has flecked off and whatnot. And also I also painted my door, not my door, my security door, the screen door that I have. It was originally white, but when I had my house repainted as part of that to match the color of the house, which is kind of like a lightish medium green, almost like an army green, if you can see a little bit behind me. And they, part of it had black accents, so they spray painted the door completely black, the security door, and so some of that wasn't quite done around the handle, and I had tape on it for the longest time, and I finally painted that. And then some of the parts when the dogs are out front in the fenced yard or wanting out, they scratch on both sides, and so some of the white had come through again, so I went ahead and fixed that. So yesterday I did shovel a lot of rocks. I'm moving a lot of my old rocks that I used for ground cover in my back side yard. I'm moving them to the front under the bushes there, and I really made myself very sore doing that. Yesterday I could feel it, especially today, well, last night. And so I've been doing a lot of icing and taking some painkillers, and I really want to get out there and shovel a bunch more rocks and put them in the wagon that my brother made a long time ago and move them to the front yard and dump them there under those bushes, but that's going to have to wait for another day. Now, as someone who's older, I make sure I get my exercise every day, and that was going to be my main exercise, getting a lot of upper body exercise. But so instead, I'll just go for a nice long walk in a little while. And we do have a heat wave right now, and it's also nice and breezy. I think it's Santa Ana's maybe, and that's what we call it when we get our desert winds. And so I'll be well hydrated. Plus I thrive in the heat, it won't be a problem. And then I like walking when it's still really hot out and bright, because you don't encounter other people, they're just in cars, so it's more peaceful. Mr. Rexter. Now, I'm still dieting from my post July 4th eating on that weekend, and it takes a while for me to get the weight back off. I gained 4 or 5 pounds over like 4 days or 5 days, and so I'm keeping at it. Now, I'm not one to believe in starving myself, I tend to, the way I keep trim is I just eat a lot of vegetables and fruit with the food that I want to eat. And that helps me maintain my weight. And so sometimes, though, I will cut back and have a lighter meal. And I'm not afraid of going a little bit hungry. And also, I tend to stop eating after about 4 or 4:30. And I've been doing that for years. So that helps as well, knowing that I am done with the eating for the day. Ah, Mr. Rexter. Well, guess that about wraps it up. And it's just so sad about Shannon Dougherty dying. And then I saw that Dr. Ruth died. And then I saw that Richard Simmons died. And then we had Donald Trump almost die. He's just so lucky. It reminds me of when President Reagan was shot when I was in high school and hearing about that. But he survived that. And so hopefully Donald Trump can make it to the election itself and then run against Biden, and hopefully he makes it as well. And so that will be our people that are trying to be president, besides the smaller candidates. Oh, I hear the mockingbird up there. He's been around for years. Now, because we don't have tons of trees around here, the birds don't have as much competition. So I think he's the same mockingbird that's been here all these years. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll go have the rest of my Diet Pepsi before I go out on a walk. Now, I try to avoid drinking Diet Coke because of all their anti-white wokeness stuff they had a year or two ago. It's not that I never drink it, but if given the choice between Pepsi and Coke, I will go with Pepsi every time. And so that's just my way of voting for companies that aren't going to the extreme. But you could check that out yourself if you want to know more about that. It was just some internal memo about how to be less white and all the things that you could do. And that really got me angry, because if it were any other group of people, imagine them putting that out and trying to change people's culture and the way they are. Okay, well, oh, he knows that word, so he got off my lap. Oh, you know what, I might as well show you this little pumpkin here. One of my students gave me this a month or so ago. Now, obviously, it's not something I'm going to be opening anytime soon. Okay, well, I guess there was a pincher bug under it and some other kind of bug I disturbed. Now they're like, where'd our house go? Okay, wrapping that up. Have a good day, and this is the end of day 42 of retirement.